great honor and joy to welcome Dr. Steve West to This Is the Day. Steve is an esteemed colleague. We served many years together in the United States Air Force. We both deployed to the same location in Iraq. He's a man with great devotion to God and country. And Steve, welcome to This Is the Day. And can you tell our viewers a bit about your civilian and your military ministry?
Absolutely. It's wonderful to be with you today, Father Erikson, and to see you again. We don't get to see each other very much these days. But I started in my ministry very early. I felt God's call while I was still a teenager. And it just so happened that when I was 18, I went into the Air Force enlisted.
Wow. And
I was trying to run away from God, from trying to be called as a full-time minister, because I didn't want that. But I ran right smack into it, as God usually does. And so after I spent a few years in the Air Force, I came out to get my education to hopefully come back to be a chaplain one day. And the rest of the story is that I've been a chaplain for a number of years. And so I'm very thankful for 40-something years of ministry. As a matter of fact, my military DD 214 that tells you how much time you had is 40 years, 8 months. So my whole adult life.
That is amazing, Steve. You know, during this month of November, we're remembering our veterans and the great sacrifice that our veterans make in their families. And you have captured that so beautifully and powerfully in your book, The Bronze Scar, about your journey with PTSD as a result of combat ministry. So could you share with our viewers how it is that you came about to give us the gift of the Bronze Scar?
Well, one of the things that I found very quickly was once I was diagnosed and I knew I had to start working toward how am I going to go through this the rest of my life? What am I going to do? What makes it better? I felt like I was alone. I didn't think anybody else really felt exactly the way I did. And so that's a lonesome feeling. And I started praying. God worked it out. And so I looked at books all over the internet, Amazon, wherever, about PTSD. And by the way, there are thousands of them. But I didn't find one that talked about, this is how I feel, from someone that would be vulnerable enough to do it. And I said, boy, if I'd have just had something. So I began to write. And the whole idea was, this needs to be something where when someone with PTSD picks it up, they can say, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. That's what's going on with me when anger or isolation to get away from people comes out of nowhere. And so it was certainly the Lord's desire, and my desire was, if it can help one person, Lord, then it's worth it.
Well, Steve, it has helped countless people. I recommend it to everyone, especially those who want to, as you just said, want to know what is it like to experience PTSD? How is it to not feel alone? And what are the consequences for family members and for friends? So tell us, Steve, about what has happened since the book's been published. What has been the journey of the Bronze Scar over these past number of months?
Well, the book came out last July, 2021, and I had no idea what the Lord had in store for me, because it became a new chapter in my life at 66 years old, which I wasn't expecting or asking for. But it did. And so the amazing thing to me is that I get feedback from people all the time that talk about how it's blessed them and how I understand someone now, or I understand myself, or I'm not crazy. I get it. And so I've had the opportunity to present this book in how's it feel? And a lot of people have read it right now. It's gone beyond my expectations. I do a lot of podcasts and interviews and radio and things like that now. And so it has certainly changed my life. And what God has done, as he so often does, is he's taken something bad, something negative, and made it positive for the kingdom. Yeah. And